When life knocks you down, and life will knock you down, try to land on your back. Because if you can look up, you can get up. Welcome to Fire with Dr. Ninja Turtle.
Hi everyone, welcome back to Fire with Dr. Ninja Turtle. In my last video, I talked about comparing the similarities and the differences between the baby steps and the financial order of operations. In this video, I'm going to talk about this new movement that I've heard about, which is called the unretirement wave. But before I do that, let's get the elephant out of the room. If you've seen any of my other videos, you know I don't shave. And I don't shave because I don't have to. I'm retired. However, I have a ton of razors in my bathroom from 4 years ago when I retired, and I am determined now to use them. So I think I'm going to start shaving once a month until I get rid of all these expensive old razor blades that I have. But let's talk about this week's video, which is the unretirement wave. I saw a video of a woman on YouTube who is going back to work, and she's in the same age bracket as me. And the title of her video is Why Some of Us Have No Choice But to Go Back to Work. Now, I don't know her particular circumstances of why she has to go back to work, but I am going to leave a link to her video down below, because as a person who's in the FIRE movement, this just blew my mind. The thought of going back to work. And so I had to do more research on it. And as the video progresses, you'll see that I should not have had to do research on this topic. The unretirement trend is a topic that's very prevalent now amongst retirees. A lot of retirees are returning to work for various different reasons, financial reasons, medical reasons, and for socialization. And so some of these reasons may be a career shift or starting a brand new career. And I was not aware that so many people were returning to work. According to T. Rowe Price, in a 2020 study, and I'm going to look down just to make sure that I get the numbers right, is in 2020, 2.4 million people retired. But in 2022, 1.5 million retirees went back to work. That is an astounding number to me. I was at the beginning of this trend that happened in 2020. I quit my job / retired in January of 2020 with no idea that March of 2020 was coming. But I was leaving a toxic work environment, and so I decided to quit and retire. So I was at the beginning of the Great Resignation. And as you know, a lot of people quit their jobs after March of 2020. And I think people retired and had to go back to work because they quit without a plan. I had a plan. I had been in the FIRE movement for 10 years. And I had planned all along at some point to pull the ripcord. I was just getting ready for that one tipping point that made me pull the trigger. How is the unretirement wave reshaping the workforce? I teach management and leadership at various colleges, and what this does is it creates a multi-generational workforce. And I talk to my students all the time about managing and leading in a multi-generational workforce, but this increases the multi-generational workforce. When you have people from different generations, you have to manage them differently. Baby boomers are totally different and have different priorities than Gen Z and Gen X. So therefore, a manager or leader really has to walk a very complicated and fine line. The unretirement wave is affecting people both from financial reasons, but also from socialization reasons. T. Rowe Price found that 48% of people that go back to work go back for financial reasons. They also found out, which was surprising to me, is that 45% of people go back to socialize and to have emotional relationships. I am an introvert, so I do not need to go back to work for socialization reasons. Also, I am hoping that with my plan for retirement and living below my means, I don't have to go back to work for financial reasons. Just as a side note, a little thing that I learned about in my research here is the word returnships. I had never heard of the word returnships, and basically it's like a paid internship for people who are retired but have come back to work, and so they're figuring out their footing back in the office. Returning to work doesn't always mean that people are going back to the careers that they left. Some people return to work to follow their passions, as I'll discuss later in the video, and other people want flexible work or they want part-time work, which will also be talked about later in the video. But a lot of people return to work just to satisfy, let's say, a new career or something that they want to do with their free time. In the comments, please tell me, do you think that unretirement is only for people going back to a 9-to-5, or do you think that people who have a side hustle, like YouTube creators or me teaching in colleges, is not real retirement? That's a hot topic in the FIRE community. I was not aware of the unretirement wave. However, I should have been, because it's very close to home, as you'll see as I was doing this research. My wife has continued to go to school even though she retired, and she has just finished, and so she's starting a new career where basically she's working a full-time 9-to-5 even though she already retired. I am teaching part-time, which is a side hustle that I was doing which allowed me to retire early. So I'm doing it differently than my wife, and I would say that she's unretired, but I would say that I am not retired. And so that's for people to judge whether or not someone is retired. Now, when I'm teaching, I have the option to take classes or not take classes. I also have the ability to tell the schools I don't want to teach in the summer. That way I have more free time. And financial freedom is about having more free time. The question is, would I ever consider unretirement? As in going back, as that my definition is going back to a 9-to-5. And that's a hard no. I am done with the 9-to-5. I am done with the office. I am done with meetings. I don't even like meetings. But what I would do, if I ever had to, is I would just go out and get more colleges. I taught at 4 colleges when I retired. I'm down to 3 colleges, and currently I'm only teaching 1 class right now, which gives me a ton of free time. But I do have a backup plan. Now, I live on less than what I make, which pretty much ensures that I won't have to go back to work for financial reasons. I also am an introvert, meaning I won't go back to work to socialize. I just don't want to. Not everyone has the option to not go back to work, so I want to be sensitive to that. Some people have to go back to work for financial reasons, socialization reasons, or medical reasons. What I believe is that one should plan for their retirement so that 1, they pay off their debts, 2, so that they design the type of retirement that they want to live. Not everyone can live the same retirement. Everyone's retirement is individual. Now, mine is that I retired with less than $500K in retirement accounts, and I retired on a tiny pension, but I used geo arbitrage and moved to a low cost of living area. That doesn't work for everyone. It worked for me. The quote of the day is, while you can strive to build more wealth, don't forget what the money is there for. The money is there to give you more time. Never let your past determine your future.